Hey lovelies, Esther here with Dueling Deck Dialogues, back again, wanting to dive into some more decks as I prep my way toward the Drop 'em 78 challenge that's starting next week, October 15th, a challenge that's an invitation for all of us to really plunge deep into the idiom and imagery of a particular tarot deck, spending the last 2.5 months of the year going through that deck one card at a time, one day at a time, really seeing how that particular deck speaks to our life, how our life speaks to the deck, how we gain more access to our own intuitive heart by granting ourselves more access to a particular deck's intuitive voice. And we go through the deck in a particular way, starting with the Ace of Pentacles, moving through to the Wands, then the Cups, then the Swords, and then finally, having gone through the elemental minor arcana, fully readied, we plunge into the Fool's Journey, and we end the year, December 31st, with the World. But what deck? I thought I knew. And then I realized as I did more of these deck dialogues that I don't know. I'm still in discernment, and the discernment process is itself so delicious. So I don't mind having this opportunity to ask and make choices. What a delight, what a deep privilege. And tonight I want to look at 3 decks, not just 2, but 3, that are aligned by each of them having a really profound artistic sensibility. The 3 decks are produced by 3 very deep artists, artists who both their own artwork takes you somewhere powerful, and then they're deep about the tarot. Very different art. 2 of the decks are quite abstract. One of the decks is much more representational, figurative art, but each of them is magical. So these are heavy hitters, and they are heavy hitters that I haven't really given myself to before, although I've played with each of them a little. But it's high time, actually, to play with each of them quite a lot. So is one of them going to be the one? I don't know. And I'm not being coy here. Is one going to be the one? I don't know. I don't know. But let's start. And we're going to start with the Marielle. And this is the first edition. I don't know if there was an earlier copy of this, of the first edition, that didn't have the gold edging. This is a later printing of it. The Marielle, I have it in all 3 of the editions, the first edition, and then both of the borderless matte versions that came out. The first had this black edging that kind of had a chipping problem, and then they reissued it with slightly different cardstock and with holographic edging that has fared better. I love both the black and the holographic, but in terms of the images, there were some changes that were made between the first and the second edition. The High Priestess and the Hierophant are 2 that come to mind. And I like the first versions better. And I actually think, although I really wanted a matte version of this deck and I really wanted a borderless version of the deck, I actually think the artwork is more powerful with the gloss and with the border. So I've actually only read with the matte versions. So it's going to be, if I'm having problems shuffling, this deck is really big in my hands. And so to shuffle it, I kind of have to either do overhand, which I don't like because I don't feel like it's really efficient. Or I have to do the trick of breaking it into quarters and then, whoops, oh my goodness. And as I did that, this card leaped out. Death. Are you telling me, before I even ask, you're telling me that you are going to be a deck of transformation, aren't you? And in some ways, maybe a deck of coming to terms with my own aging, which is happening, and seeing the flourishing that can happen in this time as we embrace like impermanence, as we embrace time itself, coming into, for me, our crone wisdom. I love this crone image. I mean, look at her. Is that what you're telling me? Is this my needing to embrace a certain moment in my life? And you're helping me do that. Now, this is a deck, by the way. All three of these are decks that the guidebook is really helpful and important, and particularly the Marielle. But for these deck dialogues, I'm not looking at the guidebook. So here we go. Oh, the Lovers. You know, I got the Lovers in my reading yesterday. Was it yesterday? With the Deviant Moon. And I'm starting to think that when I'm getting this card in these deck dialogues, that it's about my relationship to the deck itself. And you are promising to hold me, to give me strength, to blend with me, to help me move through this time. And look at that angelic figure above. Oh my God. Blood and the vulva. And sort of like a... Sorry, this deck has lots of imagery in it and nudity, and I mean, that's a clitoris. I'm sorry, it is. Isn't it? It is. So, you know, just this powerful, God damn. Okay, so you're going to take me all the way there, aren't you? That's what you're saying. You're going to take me all the way there. Yeah? What am I not getting? What am I not understanding here? You know, I was thinking about this card last night when I was pulling out the decks I wanted to work with today, and I thought, I hope I don't get the Seven of Wands in this deck because I don't really know what it means. I know what Seven of Wands in a Waite Smith deck means, but this deck, as each of these decks, they're playing with number, you know, with understandings of number that might relate to the Kabbalah, that might relate to Pythagorean numerology or other forms of number thinking. They're also kind of in sync accordingly with Crowley-Harris, with the Thoth tradition. But here I just see the steadfastness of this image. Sevens I often think of as like that extra step of contemplation, that extra step beyond, you know, on the seventh day he rested, and a kind of steadfastness and patience. Kind of in Buddhism we might talk about the paramita, the perfection of kshanti, of constancy, of patience, of what's the other word? Forbearance. And I see that in this cat's eyes, right up against such strength, such willingness to be there. So you're saying you are going to hold, are you saying you're going to hold me to it, or you're saying you're going to be there? Or is it maybe both are the same thing? I'm mesmerized by the eyes of this cat. Ten of Swords. Yeah, you're going to hold me there to death. There's death that's going to happen here. There's a scythe. There's an ego death. There's an end of what I think I am, what I think I know. You don't have a sense of humor exactly. I've been looking at some decks that have really great senses of humor. That's not the Marielle. You're going to be intense. It's going to be on the line, I think. Oh my God. Oh my God. What a powerful... Jeez Louise. We started with some power tonight. Okay. The Marielle. The image I chose for my bag is the Prince of Cups. I mean, the Page of Cups. I just love that tattoo. Oh. Okay. The next deck. Maybe you can guess if you think about another heavy hitter, powerful artistic vision. The next deck is the Margarete Peterson. And again, the guidebook is just here it is this is the new AGM edition, which is freaking fabulous. Okay, so I have seen many editions of this deck. I own 3 editions of this deck. I own the original, here are the backs. I own the original, oh, I don't think did I show the backs of the Marielle? I own the original maroon box, the original AGM edition. This is the 20th anniversary edition, by the way. These are the backs of the Marielle. I own the original AGM edition, which has this coloration, the purple, not purple, what do you want to call that? Burgundy, maroon. There you go. It's kind of, I think of this as like Tibetan Buddhist colors, that sort of maroon and the saffron. Really freaking gorgeous. It has thicker cardstock. The original AGM two-part box version. That's the German edition. I own that. I own the original English addiction. Owning so many decks is an addiction. However, the original English edition, which is a white box and has thinner cardstock and gray-white backings and borders, gray-white borders, and then this has the thinner cardstock like the English edition, but it has the I'm losing my language. I'm a little tired. It's the end of my day, but it has the coloration of the first German edition. Anyway, it's magnificent and it's readily available, and it smells nice and I love it, and it is the one that I have been using to read with of late, but I haven't read a lot with this deck. I just haven't. It's a little bit intimidating, right? The imagery is incredibly abstract. It's like nothing else, and it is a deep dive. By the way, this edition shuffles beautifully. It's huge for my hands, but because the cardstock is nice and flex, I can do sideways shuffle, which is very, very satisfying. I'm just saying. And there is something about a satisfying shuffle. Like, that's the only thing with the Marielle, is it's not fun to shuffle. I mean, I don't know. Criteria. Go figure. There are different criteria. I might, in fact, end up making this decision in part by how much my hands want to play with a particular deck. It's all grist for the mill, folks. Okay. One more shuffle. So, this Margarete Petersen, what are you going to show me? What do you want to teach me? How do you want to lead me right now? Oh, I want to do one more shuffle. It just feels so good. Okay. There we go. Yeah, what do you want to show me right now? Okay. Upside down, and the 7, the Mother of Feathers, trying to read it upside down and backwards. So this is the Queen of Air, the Queen of Swords. And again, to really read this, one needs the guidebook, I think. The imagery is so abstract and potent, but you need, I think, the poetry of the guidebook. It's sort of Benabel Wen sometimes talks about using guidebooks as like bibliomancy, that you're not just interpreting things through the cards, and you're not just using the cards to decode the deck. The guidebook to decode the cards, but the guidebook is itself an interpretive device, because the language of the guidebook, with some guidebooks, is so powerful. But I'm not going to use the guidebook right now. So this sense of this eye and this portal, and particularly the pupil at the center of this ring, and the birds in this sky. And I think that is, Queen of Swords all the way, that there is this hole at the center. And Queen of Swords is, she is a figure of grief, after all. And yet, the airiness and the water, these seagulls, what a brilliant depiction, right? Showing the grief and also the vision, that black hole center. So you're gonna help me, right? You're gonna show me my Queen of Swords, aren't you? Me as Queen of Swords. Yeah. Is that right? The grief and the vision, the water, the flow, the air, that possibility of flight, is that what you want to bring to me? Okay, so again, you know, with this upside down, because maybe I've got the deck upside down with these deck dialogues. I'm not doing a whole lot to interpret the reversals, but just sort of thinking of maybe things that are blocked that the deck is helping jog in me. So we've got the Knight of Coins, right? And there he is, sort of this fire of this knight, this fire of earth. And, you know, that posture that he has, this sort of yogic posture. What is at the center? There's like a figure there at the center of the medallion, at the center of the disc. I mean, you're gonna, so there's grief, but you're also saying that there's the movement of earth, the fire of earth that you are going to help me access. I'm not sure I understand fully how the Knight of Pentacles is active here for me, but I do understand this need for fire, for a embodied fire, and finding a yoga of that. Like, what is the right posture for my fiery nature? What is the right embodied posture of that? How do I sit in the midst of the fire? Maybe that's it. How do I sit in the midst of the fire? Is that what you're going to be showing me? How to sit in the midst of my own fire? I'm struck by how many court cards I've been getting with these dialogues. Yeah, okay, another reversal, but another court card. So the King of Coins, the King of Pentacles. Yeah, so is it like first encountering the grief and then being able to sit in the fire and then being able to really own the earth, that earth energy? You know, seeing the green that's emerging in this king figure. There's a horse, and there's something that looks like hunt there. So what does it mean for me to be, hold on, sneeze, sneeze. Why sneeze once when you can sneeze twice? What does it mean to be a king here? What am I trying to master? What are you helping me master, really? What is the mastery in the service of? Father of Flames. Okay. All right. King, fire. Got it. Okay. All right. So these are all court cards. You want me to come into some possession, don't you? Some holding of my voice, some real, maybe some integration of the different pieces of myself. Is that is how you're leading me? Yeah? I feel like I need one more card here. Maybe I'm being a little bit pushy in trying to push here for some clarity, but am I hearing you? Am I hearing you right? Okay. You're saying, yep, this is a fiery process, and I'm going to have to commit myself to the flames and trust in the process, trust in what's going to burn up here. Trust in the burning process of this inspirational journey. Trust you, deck, which is not necessarily easy for me to do. I feel the imagery is super hard, particularly as we've gotten into these more fiery red cards. It was easier with the coolness of the Queen. But you're like, yep, you're going to give it up. Give it up. You're going to leap into the flames, and you're going to hold me to it. Really different from the Marielle's pressing up against me. Both imagery, I think, of how to surrender to. These are decks that are asking me to surrender to them, no question. These are not these are master decks, right? These are big voice decks. That's what these decks are. These are big voice decks. So buckle up. The last deck, which I kind of expect will be a little gentler, is Cilla Conway's Shimmering Veil. It's a little bit less, it's a little bit more speaking to a Waite Smith sensibility. She's more of a tarot person than the other two artists. So much of her career has been in the world of tarot, in the community. Her decks often, this one included, often include tarot community voices. You know, she's asking, what do you think of this image over that image? So she's sort of more of a tarot-y person than the other two artists, and her deck, I think, is a little more accessible because of that. And yet it's also a big voice deck. So it, by the way, shuffles really beautifully. Those are the backs. Her decks are so beautifully produced. So although all three of these decks are large format, hers is slightly smaller format than the other two, and I can shuffle it fairly easily in a normal riffle shuffle. One more shuffle. It's also a deck that my hands enjoy holding. So, Shimmering Veil, what do you have to teach me? Where do you want to lead me? All right, we got Queen of Cups happening, folks. No matter what I'm going to do, there is going to be Queens of Cup. And yet, you know, there's queen energy in all three of these readings. And yeah, there she is. I got a Queen of Cups yesterday. I'm getting queens everywhere. I'm getting water. Yeah, so there she is. She's so compassionate, right, with the porpoise near her in the shell, and she's just looking at us, just her hair flowing around her, the water flowing around her, the world flowing around her, just flow and love. So is this, you want to show me this? Yeah. You want to release in me this sweetness, this kindness. I was talking about kindness today and how important it is. This is what you want me to, you want to teach me about that flow, don't you? Is that right? Am I hearing you right? Ooh, okay. Now I'm not hearing you right. So you're saying this is not necessarily going to be so gentle. There are some patterns that you that I need to face. Some darkness that you want me to face, that you are going to be, that I shouldn't underestimate you. That when I underestimate the voice of this deck, you're going to come back at me and push me and make me see the chains, make me see the ways in which I don't take her as seriously, perhaps. I think, oh, she's too sweet. I'm like, no, there's a trap there. Am I hearing you now? Am I hearing you now? Oops. And we had a jumper. Okay, so we've gone from Queen of Cups to the Devil, to the Ten of Wands, to the burden. Okay, so yeah, apologies if I am not hearing the depth of your vision. So there's some burden that needs to be released. You will be Queen of Cups to that burden. Is that what you're saying? You're saying you are the Queen of Cups. That I have some burdens here. that I have some things that I'm holding tightly to, that I only see this as an angel of death. I can't see the angel of light. And so I'm holding against that. Is that what you're saying? So will you help me be free? Will you help me be free? Am I understanding this? And if I am, will you help me be free? Yes? Is that a yes? What? I'm trying to remember the W. Yeah. The Knight of Swords. Helping me find my swiftness, my sharpness. This does not look like a happy image. Not to belabor the obvious, but is this freedom from that? Maybe the movement that I need, which maybe won't feel that good, is the movement that I need. It's not going to feel that great. It's not going to feel that great. Three of Swords. So we come back here to the Queen of Cups, and you're going to help me with this. Will I be able to hear? Am I hearing now? Queen of Flames. Okay. Yeah. I'm hearing now. Okay. So, wow. Okay, something gets released, but yeah, it's gonna hurt. Wow, people. Woo! Oh my God. Those are some powerful readings. Which of those three do you think, if I were to choose one of them, which should it be? Let me know in the comments below, and eager for your thoughts. And if any of you have worked with one or all or several of these decks, eager to hear your experiences below. Thank you guys for watching this long video. If you've made it this far, God bless you. Goddess, universe, Buddhas, ancestors, all bless you. Spirit bless you. Thank you guys for your practice.